This is the Acura Performance EV Concept, a concept vehicle that hints at future design language of the Acura brand, but also strongly hints at the all-new, all-Honda EV platform that will be the next Acura production EV. Let's take a closer look. Looking at the front of the car, this is obviously distinct from current Acura models. The design team says that this was inspired by hydrofoil super yachts, and you can kind of see that in this like tucked up tight shape right here. You can also notice there's next to no grill here. This does kind of look like a V hull just a little bit though, doesn't it? You do have a little bit of grill way down low, and you also have a design that kind of points toward the center. You know, everything is just directionally going towards the center. Now, this is a concept car, so I wouldn't expect a lit up Acura logo just like this, but there are some neat touches here. I really like this pair of lights right here that come up and actually match the calipers of the Acura logo and then kind of follow back to the back of the hood, and there's more back there. And then you also have these little pairs of ridges that come along at the base of the windscreen right here, and more of those ridges down here, down low for this lower splitter. I do quite like these scoops that come here off to the side, add more width to this car, which is already quite literally wide, but also look at this kind of scoop tucked into the hood right here. And it's a fairly high hood, but then you got all these scoops and sculpts built into it. It's pretty interesting. And then when you look at the base of the windshield here, it's actually massively long and comes almost flat here at the base. Again, I have to emphasize, this is a concept car. I don't think the production car will be like that exactly, but I do hope that Acura can fit a lot of it in there because it looks cool. Looking at the Performance EV Concept in profile, you can see how long of a wheelbase you got here with very short overhangs on either side. This is called a Moonlight White Pearl paint, though I'm not sure it's super easy to tell with my camera combined with the studio light, but to the human eye, it's a very lovely paint. Also, in this side profile, you can see a lot more sculpting and like performance and just athleticism tucked in. The doors come in quite a bit. There's almost 6 inches for this lower cowl space right here. And then you have really interesting contrast. You have this character line that starts here at the front fender and just subtly goes across to the back of these massive, flowing, really nicely integrated rear fenders. Then you also have this other shape that's tucked in right here from the rear door and almost becomes like a little shelf nearly right here, and this comes out of this front door side scoop that's built in here. Then you have that lower cowl that pairs the bottom of the gloss black front and rear fender flares. Another thing to look at when you're looking at this concept car in profile is its sloping roofline. You kind of peak right around the B-pillar and then just flows very cleanly back all the way to the very back of the car. That's a really nice and clean and beautiful shape. And you'll notice that the roofline kind of tucks in as it goes back, and that's what forms these rear fender flares right here. It almost looks like a boat tail shape of the old wooden boats from back in the day, and I really like it. Something tells me that the production version of this car will in fact have side view mirrors, and I'm guessing door handles too, but this is definitely a nice and clean shape. I do hope that the B-pillar keeps the gloss black right here, and then we have some nice gloss black window trim to go with this moonlight white paint because it would be a really nice contrast. 23-inch wheels for this concept car. Very, very big wheels is another way to put it. And a really interesting design here as well. It's got these interesting fins built into the wheel here, and they're intentionally not even spacing between these shapes. It's kind of meant to be deliberately imperfect to be just a little bit more human, I guess. Behind that, you do have some massive brake rotors right there and 4 piston brake calipers right there. Something tells me that the production car is not going to get exactly this, but I wouldn't rule out 22-inch wheels. It's a very nice shape, to be sure. And yes, for this concept car at least, it is a square setup. You do have the same size wheel and tire in back as you do in front. Looking at the rear, it's a very clean rear, really nice full width set of taillights, all nicely lit Acura lettering right here. A nice reminder that it is the Acura Performance EV concept, and some nice gloss black down at the base, and more of these vertical lines here in the center. You don't have to worry about tailpipes or anything like that, because this will be an EV concept, EV production car. Generally, I think it's a really nice, really clean looking rear end. Acura says the production version of this concept will arrive in late of 2025, and that it will be the very first on its all-new EV platform. This is a Honda-only platform, not in partnership with General Motors. So this is a first of sorts for the Acura brand in the EV world. We know very little about this car, but we do know that the battery pack is on the floor in the center between the front and rear axle. We can guess with a lot of confidence that when this car arrives, it will be smaller than the currently in production ZDX Acura EV. And based on that, I'm gonna assume that it's also only 2 rows. I'm also gonna be quite interested to see what elements of this particular design language make it into all the Acura lineup, including the up and coming and coming sooner Acura ADX. In many ways, this creates more questions than answers, but it also creates intrigue. It's a good looking model, and I'm excited to see more. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you very much for watching.